Hello, everyone, and welcome to a reading and analysis of William Shakespeare's Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 3. We're all ready to go after a few connection troubles here, so hopefully everything holds out for us, and we can read this scene as we again get closer and closer to the conclusion of our play. So we're in Macbeth's castle, and Macbeth is like yelling at the people that are still loyal to him, who are few and far between at this point. He says, "Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all, till Brenham Wood remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear," meaning become tainted with fear. So he's really, holding on to the witch's prophecy, that third apparition, what it said. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? That would be, the second prophecy. The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Fly then, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. Epicures there would be gluttons. So that's fun. English epicures, a Scottish taunt at English eating habits. Gotta love the Folger side notes there to help you out. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. Right? So he's fully confident he can win this, even though he has all these false thanes, all these people who have fled and joined the wretched English who he hates so much. But then a servant enters, and we can tell the servant is scared based on the way that Macbeth talks to him. Servant says, "The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon. Where gottest thou that goose look?" So there's a lot of insults there, right? The servant says, "There is 10,000. He's cut off. "Geese, villain? Soldiers, sir. Go prick thy face and o'erread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers' patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers' way face?" So again, more insults, right? About his fear, about the paleness of his cheeks. And the servant says, "The English force so please you. Take thy face hence." That's a great line. Take thy face hence. Get thy face out of here. Right? So Macbeth is not interested in hearing about 10,000 enemy soldiers. If any of us had 10,000 soldiers marching toward us, we would probably take notice. But for Macbeth, as long as the things the witches said aren't happening, right? The forest moving to the castle, Burnham Wood moving to Dunsinane, then he's not actually showing any fear. He calls on a servant, Satan. So Satan is one of his most trusted servants at this point in the play. It's not spelled Satan, Saten. It's Seyton. But obviously that homophone there with Satan is interesting. Sometimes the person playing Satan is doubled with the porter, who only gets that one scene. And it's an interesting double because the porter says that they are the gatekeeper of hell, right? He says, "I'll devil porter this place no more. It's too cold for hell," all that sort of stuff. So we get a lot of talk about hell and the devil, and that all having to do with what the Macbeths have done. They've turned this place into hell, basically. So it says, "Satan, I am sick at heart when I behold. Satan, I say." So he's calling for him. "This push will cheer me ever or deceit me now." So unseat me, right? So like either I'm going to have ultimate victory today by winning this battle, or I will lose everything. "I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the sere, the yellow leaf," which sere is dryness, withered. "The yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud, but deep, mouth honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan," he calls one more time. So in this little monologue, it seems to be a monologue. He could be talking to like the doctor, or I'm sorry, it seems like a bit of a soliloquy, like to the audience, but he could be talking to the doctor and the other attendants, depending on how you stage it. This little monologue is interesting, right? He's talking about the things he could have had his life been good, to quote W.H. Auden. Right? He's like, at this point in life, as he's getting old, he should have honor, love, obedience, a whole army of friends. But instead, he has curses. He has mouth honor, right? Like lip service. You could think of it. People that are saying that they love him, but they don't actually. And he realizes that. Satan enters and says, "What's your gracious pleasure? What news more? All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported. I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor. 'Tis not needed yet. I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Skyre the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?" So it's interesting that he says, send out more horses and hang those that talk of fear, right? It's like he's still looking for traitors. It's like he's still trying to find the internal threat, even as the external is right at his doorstep, right? It reminds me of that scene in that movie Downfall that used to be a big meme on YouTube for those of us who are old enough to remember. Right, as you see the Fuhrer screaming at his, I'm just going to say Hitler. I don't care if they demonetize the video. As you see Hitler, I don't want to, saying de Fuhrer made it sound like I was more into him than I am. Not at all. You see Hitler screaming at his generals and threatening them and all the rage at everything going wrong. And it's like, well, you don't really need to look for traitors right now. You're about to be invaded. As the Red Army's on the cusp of Berlin at that point. So here you see Macbeth sending out horses to find traitors, to find people that talk of fear, as opposed to, coming up with a battle plan. He's putting on his armor too early. He's ignoring reports of 10,000 soldiers. Macbeth is a great warrior at the beginning of the play, but he's lost that. He's not being a good general. He's not being a good king or a good warrior. Now he's talking to the doctor. He says, "How does your patient, doctor?" That'd be Lady Macbeth. "Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest. Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious anecdote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that peerless stuff which weighs upon her heart." Right? So he's begging the doctor for a cure. He's like, "Can't you figure this out? Cure her of what's going on." The doctor has said she's not sick. She is troubled with fancies that keep her from her. It's her mind, not her body, that is sick. I mean, your mind and your body are, one and the same, right? Obviously. But you get what he's saying, that I can't just cure her with, medicine. She needs to examine what's going on inside of her psyche, inside of her mind. Macbeth has no time for that. He's like, throw the right drug at her and figure it out. But the doctor says therein the patient must minister to himself, meaning Lady Macbeth needs to self-examine what's going on, right? And the Macbeth says, "Throw physic to the dogs. I'll none of it." Physic here meaning medicine, right? Physician, physic. I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff. So he's like, whatever. Medicine doesn't work. Fine. I have more important things to do. Attendants begin to arm him, putting on his armor and giving him his weapons. "Satan, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch." So this is a little confusing, right? Macbeth's talking to a bunch of different people, right? Satan's over here, doctor's over here, attendants, right? He's talking to all these different people. So he says, "Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again." Pull it off, I say. "What rhubarb senna, what purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hearest thou of them?" Right? So Macbeth is giving orders about his armor. He's begging the doctor to cure her, but with just like a drug that he can find some sort of medicine. But he also wants a cure to get the infection of the English forces out of the land. And the doctor says, "Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something. Bring it after me," which is again about his armor. "I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Wood come to Dunsinane." And the doctor says, an aside, were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me near, right? Or draw me here. So the doctor really wishes he was not here right now, but he is, and everything is collapsing around him. So it's a short scene, and I like that it's a short scene because it's hectic. Macbeth doesn't have time for big plans. He doesn't have time for introspection about how he's lived his life. He doesn't even have much time to talk about Lady Macbeth and this thing that seems to be ruining her health, if not killing her. It's a short scene. He gets just a few lines of verse to figure this stuff out, and he doesn't really figure any of it out, really, because there's an army invading. He's put himself in a position where he can't deal with this properly. So anyway, that is 5-3. Hope that was helpful for you. As always, there is a discount code for field notes in the description if you want 10% off your first order. But today I want to talk a little bit about Patreon. So I do have a Patreon. It tends to hover around just a couple of people here or there, but appreciate all the support. Hoping to get a little bit more to make these videos a little more feasible for me to do consistently here. So as we are getting close to wrapping up Macbeth, if you are a patron at any of the tiers, you get to vote for the next play that we're going to look at. So there's additional rewards. A couple dollars in, you get some cool bookmarks that I'll ship to you, which I really like these. They're Oxford comma bookmarks. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus on it. A little tricky there. There we go. And it has a spot in the back for you to write down some quotes as you read, which is a great thing as you read a book, collect a great quote from it to hang on to. So you get some bookmarks. The highest tier gives you 30 minutes of editing from me once a month. So if you're working on any writing or you want to brainstorm something, I'm available for that for 30 minutes every month. So, but any tier, you get to vote for the upcoming plays. So the next 4 plays that are on the table are Hamlet, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Pygmalion, and Antigone. So I have 2 Shakespeare, a Shaw, and a Sophocles. So a little bit of variety in there. So I don't know how many patrons I'll have when this voting closes in about a week here. But it might just be 1 or 2. So it could be you. You could decide the whole play. So if you're interested in any of those, feel free to vote, and we'll see what we're doing next. But for now, we'll focus on finishing up Macbeth. Few scenes to go. Can't wait to get to the conclusion of the play with you. Hope this was helpful. Leave any questions you have down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.